Welcome to Kelly Minds Her Manners, a podcast about real estate and entrepreneurship with a twist. Here's your host, Kelly Robinson.
Hey, thank you for joining another episode of Kelly Minds Her Manners. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing the Brian Newman. He is a very famous trumpeter. He is an incredible musician, super passionate, a true character, an entertainer, a great singer. He has played with the likes of Wynton Marsalis. He still has a show with Lady Gaga in Vegas and has been working with her for years. In fact, his daughter, Cecilia, is Lady Gaga's goddaughter. And his wife, Angie Pontani, is one of the most well-known American burlesque dancers in the U.S., and he also has a residency at Aman, which he helped create in New York City, which is unbelievable. And he's worked with Tony Bennett, and he has albums on iTunes and Spotify. And you are not going to believe his story. It is so wonderful. It is so awesome. He's so much fun, and he just might play a little something for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, Brian Newman. Brian Newman, welcome. I have been dying to interview you for the longest time. Even since I first heard you play at the Rose Bar at the Gramercy Park Hotel many years ago with my crazy girlfriends, and we were running around at the Gramercy Park Hotel all the time. We would come to see you guys all the time. And I just always said, wow, like, he is just so cool and so talented, and like, your whole look, and then your cool car, and just everything that you've done. I've always wanted to get to know you. And so this is a chance for me to get to know you, but for other people to get to know you too, which is really cool. Wow. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, no, Kelly, thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here. This is awesome. I can't wait to talk to you. Good stuff. The Rose Bar was good times, definitely good times.
Yeah. So I want to start from the beginning.
All right.
From childhood. I know that you started playing the trumpet from a very young age. And I know that jazz was something that you were passionate about from a young age. But tell me where it all began. Like, what led to it? Where did you grow up, and what inspired that in you at such a young age?
Yeah, for sure, Kelly. I mean, I'll give you the short version. I started playing. I grew up. So let's start here. I grew up in Mentor, Ohio, a little suburb outside of Cleveland. I was into rock and roll and Metallica and Nirvana, all the Pearl Jam, all the great bands of like the 80s, late 80s or 90s bands. But when I was around 10 years old, I started playing. They go around the room and pick out. You raise your hand and they say, "Oh, you're a good bass player. You're a good violinist. You're good for." They're picking out a band. So they said, you'd be a good trumpet player. They needed a trumpet. So I started playing the trumpet when I was 10 years old, and then I just took off from there. I was playing in band, concert band, and I guess what got me into improvising and playing like the jazz music was I was improvising during concert band. Like, so there's supposed to be notes on the page. I'm supposed to be playing those, and I didn't know it at the time, but I was improvising. I was like playing off the page and playing melodies of my own, and I kept getting in trouble for that. And then I remember the band director was like, after a while of me getting in trouble, he was like, you should take my summer jazz course. It was like a 6-week course. You come in every day and play, you learn. I didn't know what we were learning, but at the end of the thing, we learned the 12-bar blues, which is the basis of every music that we listen to today. All jazz music all comes from this blues, these blues rhythms. You know what I mean? Okay. So I started doing that, and I loved it. And I know first time for me where I realized that music was like off the page. Like I could play music that was off the written page. So I started booking myself at like coffee shops when I was like 11.
Oh my God.
And we like right around the corner, we play like in the coffee shop with a couple guys, bass and drums or whatever. And just started reading from the fake book, which is like this book you could buy that has all different standards in it, all different kinds of tunes. So I just got really into it. The band director, Tim Yole, was like he's just an awesome guy. He was so helpful to me, and just pushed me. And I loved it, and he knew that I loved it. So I just kind of pushed hard and started listening to stuff. He would give me records. I would ask for other people for records. And the whole while I was still listening to all the great like 90s music, 80s music, and, pushing the envelope there. But I just loved it. And that was really the start of it. And then, from about time I was about 12 on, I knew that I wanted to be a musician in New York City. So like I just spent the rest of my high school career, middle school, high school career, and college career trying to get here. And that's basically it. That's my start,
Yeah. And how did your parents feel about that choice? Were they supportive of it, or did they want you to try something a little bit more stable?
I mean, they were super supportive. I mean, I remember my dad, as I got older, I was like 14, 15, and I was playing with, guys that are my age now, or 30s to late 20s. Like I was playing in real clubs with like real bands, even if it was like in the 90s, I played with this band called the Swagger Kings. I was like 14 or 15, and they were like that part of that whole swing revival where like all the punk rock musicians like sold their like leather and like spike stuff for like zoot suits and like upright basses, you know what I mean? Like, but it was basically like a punk band, punk musicians that were playing like this swing style stuff. Also, were the first place where I had my first taste of Irish whiskey, which was good. But yeah, that was kind of like I was always playing. So my dad would drive me to the bar because I couldn't get in without my parents.
Right.
But he would be there, and he was always very supportive.
That's awesome.
And then I started doing my gigs Thursday, Friday, Saturday night at this Italian restaurant in my hometown, and I was always playing with older musicians because my dad was a big jock, so he always had like sports analogies. He was always like, well, if you want to be the best, you got to play with the best, and so I kind of took his sports mentality of like getting to the top of through music, so like a lot of the stuff that he would tell me like, still sticks with me. You know what I mean? Like he always told me this story about Larry Bird, famous basketball player for the Celtics. And he said he told me that in an interview, like Larry Bird said to the interview, he said, when I'd come home from practicing from the court, like I would sit on the couch or whatever, and I would sit down and I would be like, as soon as I would sit down, I would sit there for a minute and be like, oh, someone else is out there practicing. I need to go back and do. So he would get up and go back to the court, whether it was raining, whether it was snowing, it was always about basketball. So and that's what it was like for me. It was always about music. And my parents like understood that and, saw that I had a knack for it, you know what I mean? And saw that I had the drive to learn it. I was not the best musician, in the beginning. I was not.
Really?
I had a lot to work really hard. I still work really hard on it. I still take voice lessons. I still try to study from people that I know and practice my trumpet, when I can. Not as much as I used to, but it's a good thing.
Yeah, that is a good thing to always be growing and learning and honing your craft. It's like a muscle, right? You have to keep building it and even training it. And there's muscle memory. Yeah. But you still have to, in order to be in the best shape, you have to be working at it constantly. So I appreciate that. So you went to conservatory program at the University of Ohio, right?
Yeah, Cincinnati. It's University of Cincinnati, which there's the Bearcats. But they have like a college conservatory music, just like a business school, or they have music school. But it's a really was great conservatory, and it was really helpful. I was there about 4.5 years, and then I ended up dropping out and moving to New York. I think I only have like 19 credits left, or something like that. But I learned a lot there. I learned a lot from the musicians that were in Cincinnati. Like there was a lot of great musicians that had like settled there after like the road bands ended. Like the guys that played with like Stan Kenton and like all these great old big bands. Like when that kind of dried up in the 80s, a lot of these guys came back home. And there was a lot of great clubs there and a lot of great musicians to learn from. And the teachers at the school were really great. Yeah. And, even though I didn't graduate, it's still like we go back. We just went back and played the 150th anniversary of the school. So, we've been like still trying to get my honorary degree, but we'll see. It doesn't at this point. It I haven't needed it yet.
I'm going to put the energy out into the universe for you to get your honorary degree. I think you've earned it with all of the accomplishments that you've made. Oh man. So where did you meet your fellow bandmates?
I met Steve Cortica, their tenor player, and the piano player Alex Smith at Cincinnati. So me and those two guys have been playing for 22, 23 years, That's respectively. Awesome. And I love those guys. Those guys are great. And then the other cat, Daniel Foose, plays bass. We've been playing together maybe 7 years. And then Nolan Bird, the drummer, have been playing together probably 4. So this is the best iteration of the band that we've had so far. And I think this is like the one that's going to take away. You know what I mean? Like this is the one I love playing with these guys. It's just we get to travel all over the world. We get to hang out, play some of the best music with the best people. And it's just, it's always, it's a real honor. It's an honor to play with those guys.
Yeah. And you not only have your own music and your own albums on, anywhere like Apple and Spotify and everywhere.
Totally.
But you have played with some of the most legendary musical artists of our time. I mean, even, like Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett and isn't Lady Gaga Sistina? Your daughter's name, Brian's daughter's name is Sistina. Isn't she her
she's
godmother?
Yeah, she is her godmother. Yes. Cecilia.
Oh,
I know it's a tough one.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right, Cecilia. But she's we call her Sissy Joe. Her middle name's Cecilia Josephine. Yeah, she's great. But Gaga's the godmother to her. I've known her for a long time. But yeah, Tony Bennett. That's just was such a legendary pairing. You know what I mean? And to be involved with my band from New York and to be able to do those records, arrange, orchestrate, record, tour, like that was a dream come true, really. And to do Tony's last shows at Radio City was really amazing and just really like learned so much from him even before we got to play together. It was just a real special. He's a real special guy. And she is too.
I went to that show.
Yeah, you were there at Radio City, right?
I was there at Radio City, and it was amazing. And I didn't even know that you were involved in that until like recently. And I was like, "What? How did I not know that?" It was an amazing show. You
didn't recognize me on stage? Or
I mean, I would think I was in the back row, I do not wear my glasses like I'm supposed to. I mean, you've got a style and a presence,
man,
so
totally.
But it was an awesome show.
It was incredible. It's a great plug. It was a great place to be. You know what I mean? Like we got to do a lot of stuff with Tony and Gaga, and it was great. I still do stuff with Gaga a lot.
Yeah. That's amazing. And you've done other recent things with different recording artists that are pretty big, right?
Yeah, I just love spreading it around, playing with different kinds of cats, and just really through Tony and Gaga, we got to play with like Stevie Wonder at Tony's birthday party. His 90th birthday party at Radio. I mean, that was at Rockefeller's. I mean, I'm sorry, that was at the Rainbow Room.
Oh, cool.
Just talk about a who's who of like New York City, like a private party at the Rainbow Room for Tony Bennett's 90th. Like that was amazing.
Yeah,
it was amazing.
Bet.
Yeah, amazing.
I went to a wedding there. It was off the charts. And then you're also married to an artist. Your beautiful wife.
Yeah, Angie Pontani, She's a famous burlesque dancer, dance all over the world, and we do a lot of shows together. We have a residency in Las Vegas at the Nomad at the Park MGM, and we travel a lot together, working all over the place. She's at the new club with me. I'm at the Jazz Club at Aman, New York.
Yeah.
Which has been an amazing opportunity. Been building that room for a while now, and it's like. And then we've been open like maybe 9-10 months now, and it's like we're gearing up for September, and it's just like it's just going hard. It's going hard, and I love it.
Yeah, I can't wait to go. I actually reached out to them this morning to see what availability was, because I know they don't have openings. It's only like a month in advance, right? That you can book.
Yeah.
So, but we will get there and we will see you. And just looking at the photos of the space online, I'm like, I cannot wait to go.
You have someone on the inside too, Kelly. You can just text me. You know what I mean? It's we'll take care of it.
We would love to support you and your music.
It's fun.
We would love to. See, you also have a love for classic cars.
I do. I love the classic cars. Beautiful. Have always had. I got that from my dad. He always had something cool. Even though we didn't always have a lot of money, he always had something. Whether it was just always something cool. Yeah, definitely.
So you just sold your Mercury.
I did.
It was
1951.
51 Mercury, which was so cool. It was always parked outside the Gramercy Park Hotel, I remember so well. And you just sold that, and now you've got something else coming.
Yeah, I'm building a building. I like to do all the work myself in a little tiny garage in Brooklyn. And this is a 1928 Model A. It's a Ford Roadster. So it's a very, very traditional hot rod, but it has we have a 57 T-Bird Thunderbird motor that we're going to put in it. 1928 car, 57 motor. Really, and it's got a convertible, no top. So it's gonna be badass. I can't wait.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
My dad built or partially built his Porsche when he was in high school or like right before college.
Wow.
And he was in Larchmont, growing up in Larchmont, New York. And there were all these guys that would try to race him at the stoplight because like. Honestly, what else was there to do? There was no internet.
No, totally.
Nobody was going down the Google hole trying to find the end of the internet, right?
Yeah.
So, people had to find other ways to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So my dad, these guys would be revving their engines at the stoplight, ready to go. And my dad would literally put the car in reverse and they would take off.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
that
funny.
car unfortunately got stolen out of his driveway. But
oh man, that sucks.
Whatever. But he loved the classics too. Yeah. He had an Austin Healey.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which he sold to get my mom her wedding ring.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Makes sense.
Her engagement ring. Yeah. So yeah, but your car was always really cool and like you have this style about you that's so awesome. It's very different and like you've got all of these textures and the jewelry and the tattoos and like the suits and it just all but it's different, but it all just goes so well together. Like you're like you're kind of like an icon in and of yourself.
I don't know. I appreciate it. That's a very nice thing to say. I just try to be myself and just like, I live the lifestyle. It's not like it's not something put on, it's like I love the vintage stuff. We love vintage music, cars, tattoos, everything that goes with that. Like, I just love that I love the Americana, man. It's like, it's so, America is such a great place. You know what I mean? It's like the best place in the world. And I love being here and soaking up all the culture that we have in this great country,
I agree.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you. It's
good stuff, especially in New York City. You know what I mean? I know we say sometimes we don't live in America, we live in New York.
Yeah.
It's just the melting pot of everybody together is like it's a very good. I love to be able to raise my daughter in a place like this. It's a very not like where I grew up in the suburbs where it's like not very much going on, kind of all the same, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just go to the mall, you know what I mean? Like,
go to the
mall, cruise around, it's like we didn't really do much. But so I was practicing trumpet. I was hanging out. I wasn't into like drinking or drugs or anything like that. I was just like focused on getting to New York to play music, you know? Yeah. Then I started drinking.
Yeah. You earned it. You earned your drink.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you got here, were you getting gigs right away or did you have to do other things?
No, yeah. I got moved to New York 2003 and I literally, I remember I needed a job. The only I worked at like the Buckle, which was like a clothing store back in the day. We sold you can probably remember the silver flare jeans or whatever.
Gosh.
Remember
oh my gosh.
And like Aniche and like Lucky Brand.
Yeah.
And we sold Doc Martens.
Oh my God.
So I did that. And then I worked at Chi-Chi's as a busboy, like the Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
So I came here and I got an apartment. I moved here with a girlfriend. It was like $1,100 a month in like the middle of Bushwick. Like,
wow.
You could roll a ball on one side of the floor and it would go all the way to the other side.
Welcome to New York.
Yeah, but it was really cheap. It was really cheap and it was in a terrible neighborhood. And at the time, Bushwick was still Bushwick. It's not like
it is now.
So I moved here and then I remember in the middle of July, I had to get a job. Like I had like 2 weeks to get a job. Like I needed money. So I just walked around. I put a suit on in the middle of July, walked around to restaurants. And I walked everywhere until somebody just gave me a job in the West Village at this place called Agave.
I remember Agave.
Yeah, it's still there. It's still there.
Yeah.
I got a job there as a busboy. As a waiter. I conned my way in as a waiter. And then I worked in the restaurant business for a while. After that job, I opened up BLT Fish on 17th Street. And then I did that. And all the while I was taking gigs on Craigslist, I played in like klezmer wedding bands. I played in hip hop bands. I was literally taking any gig that I could get,
Yeah.
And just played everything and all while trying to work and make it happen,
Yeah.
But that was I wasn't about 7 or 8 years until I played music full time for a living. It was did a bunch of jobs. And then, I ended up doing a lot of high-end restaurants like BLT. And I was on AGM and beverage director of BLT Prime.
Oh, wow.
Which was right around the corner from Rose Bar.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was putting in my 2 weeks there and my buddy was calling me about a job downtown as a bartender at this little tiny joint called St. Jerome's. So that's way gone right now. But, So I took that job, and that was a little more freedom for me to do the other gigs that I had to do, because I was working like 70 hours a week at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Things weren't happening for me. I was depressed. I was like, I just wanted to I wanted to play music, and I'm like stuck doing this thing for a job, and I don't really want to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I swear to God, once I just once I quit that job, threw myself into music full time, bartending 2 or 3 nights a week. And I moved in with some roommates for really cheap in a really terrible place. And I mean, that was it. I just was like, okay, fine, this is it. I got to do it. And I just did everything that I could to keep continuing and never give up. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, I guess. I don't know.
That is so, I have so much respect for you for doing that, because so many people give up, and you made it happen. So when did you know that you hit it?
Oh, I don't think I even know now. You're still especially in show business, I feel like, maybe it's like this in real estate too, because you're going from house to house, right?
Yeah.
Or apartment to apartment. I'm going from gig to gig.
Yeah.
So it's nothing is set in stone that I have this now. You know what I mean? And like we talked about earlier, off mic and camera, it's you can't give up. You just have to keep going. Totally. You know what I mean? And you're never satisfied with what you have right now. I want more, not more in terms of money but just you want to do more. I want to do bigger things. I want to learn more about music. I want to play more venues. That's what I want to do,
What was the first gig where you were able to work with somebody who had already established a name for themselves?
Oh, well, I did some stuff with, I did stuff with Gaga a lot. The first really big gig that I did was with her on the Today Show, during the Bad Romance.
Uh-huh.
So I played Somewhere to Watch Over Me. But the thing that happened with that is we were friends from the bar, St. Jerome. She was a patron of there, and she also, before she was famous, she was a DJ. She was a go-go dancer there. She did a go. This is all public knowledge.
Yeah.
She was a go-go dancer with Lady Starlight and Lady Gaga. That was the Friday night party at St. Jerome. And she would go dance, DJ, and it was just the party of all parties. It was all rock and roller guys, you know what I mean? They played Iron Maiden. This bar was so cool, you know what I mean? And she was, and a lot of the other people that were hanging out there back then were young like us, in our mid-20s. And they all went on to do great stuff, whether it's in the fashion industry or makeup on Broadway or all these great things, everybody that was hanging out at that bar was very cool people, That's and that was the first place in New York that I was like, oh man, I can be myself. You know what I mean? It's not I don't have to put anything on. These guys everybody's doing what they want to do,
Yeah.
Then she started coming to our gigs. We would go to her gigs at the bitter end. There was this big bar that she played, a big club that she played called Gabriel's. Okay. And I remember carrying the disco ball for her. It was she was doing Just Dance, and it was this giant disco ball, 2 dancers and a DJ.
Oh my gosh.
Doing all these club dates all around town. So we did that, and then so once she came back to the bar and was like, hey, do you want to do the Today Show with me? Because she was sitting in with us at the Oak Room at the Plaza. She sat in down with us at Duane Park, another residency that I had in New York around that time. So she was doing that kind of stuff. So when she was going on the Today Show, she wanted to do some jazz. So she's like, I want to do this song. Will you come and play it with me? So we did that. And then that was the beginning of really great stuff that we did together.
That's so cool.
That was just me as a soloist. Then she flew me out to London to play the BBC Radio 1 big weekend with her. And that was insane. That was 60,000 people.
Wow.
And that was playing with her band, her rock and roll band, her pop band, I guess you'd call it. Who a lot of those guys are still in the band, still very good friends of ours. And we hang in Vegas and play together. I love those guys. So so that was the big kind of thing that kind of took off. Then it started being we shot a commercial for MTV together for the music awards, and then that was my band that was in on it. Then we did my band with Tony Bennett for a Thanksgiving special, and then that turned into them doing an album together, which we weren't on. The Lady is a Tramp, and then they did a whole record together, and that was where we got to do half of it. Tony's band did half of it, and then did the whole tour together, and just met so many people and just learned so much, and just she's amazing, man. She really is she's just a great person.
That's awesome.
I love working with her.
That's awesome. And I'm sure she loves working with you too.
We have a lot of fun,
Yeah. I'm sure she has a lot of respect for you.
Oh, it's good.
So I have a couple of other questions for you.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh man. Still in New York.
Yeah.
So, and still playing music, obviously, but just doing more of what we're doing. You know, the jazz club at Aman is really, I love being there. You know, I love booking the acts there. I took the job as a creative director about a year and a half ago.
Cool.
And we've been building out the room. And it's nice to have a place where, you know, the sound system is amazing. You know, I mean, like there's only 2 other places in New York that have it. Jazz at Lincoln Center, and I forget the other place, but this place is a very intimate 130 seat, $1.7 million just in sound and lights.
Wow.
So and all the places is designed acoustically. Like all the panels are there's perforated with sound deadening behind everything. And like, it just sounds amazing. So, you know, I'll still be doing that. Hopefully we'll be at the Aman doing that, and then just traveling and doing fun stuff. Band's going to the south of France for the film festival next week.
Nice.
To play a show, and just doing some more traveling. And, you know, I'm enjoying hanging with the family and being in New York, and we'll be back in Vegas soon.
That's awesome.
So yeah, just kind of more of the same, just getting bigger, you know.
That's amazing.
Yeah, doing more fun stuff, you know, taking a little more time off too. I feel like we work so hard, I never take vacation, or so we booked some summertime. I can't wait to go to the beach and hang out this summer. And, you know, so hopefully there's some more stuff like that in the next 5 years.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. I just was in Miami for 11 days, and I'm still pale. Oh, man. So I had a couple more questions for you. What artists influenced you the most growing up?
Oh, man, it started with Chet Baker, trumpet player and singer. I emulated him like crazy. Miles Davis, Louis Armstrong, Louis Prima. And then a little bit later in life, it was more the Sinatra. Sammy Davis Jr. is one of my favorites. And then Sarah Vaughan and Ella. I listen to all that kind of stuff. But, you know, in our band, in our shows now, we play everything from Willie Nelson to Nirvana to Phil Collins to Lionel Richie to Journey. You know what I mean? But we make those songs, those hits, our own arrangements.
Yeah.
You know, so it's you know, whether we're doing Driven to Tears by Sting, or, you know, The Nightlife by Willie Nelson, or, you know, Hello by Lionel Richie. It's all our own version, our own band that we've been playing together forever. So it's super tight. And so those are a lot of my influences. I just, like I said, American music. I love beautiful old school American music. Because some of the stuff we play is Cole Porter, maybe 100 years old. You know, a lot of these, you know, Sting Police songs are 40 or 50 years old. Willie Nelson, 60 years old. So that, to me, that's all part of the lexicon of this great American songbook. You know?
That's interesting. Can you imagine doing anything else?
No. Maybe having a custom car shop. That's what I would love to have, a hot rod shop. That would be amazing.
Cool.
Yeah,
that
would be
super
amazing.
Cool. Do you have any pre-show rituals?
Champagne. Mm-hmm. At least a glass.
Yeah.
And then I always warm my voice up. I have to warm my voice up, warm the horn up. So that starts about an hour before I play. So I get a champagne, go warm up my voice. I sing this. I study with this guy, Don Lawrence, he's amazing. He taught Gaga. I taught, the list is long.
That's awesome.
Mick Jagger. There was it's crazy. He is it's crazy the people that he's taught voice lessons to.
Wow.
So I do his voice lesson, which really makes me strong, be able to sing 4 or 5 nights a week and not get tired.
Yeah.
And not hurt myself. So that's super important. Yeah. That's a good pre-show ritual. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite project thus far?
My favorite project thus far.
I know that might be a hard one.
No, it's a hard one. I mean, but it's between the Jazz Club at Aman, building this place out. Yeah. That's for me, you know what I mean? That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. And it's an honor to be there. But my favorite musical project has probably been the ongoing residency with Gaga at the Dolby Live Theater in Vegas. Yeah. And everything that we do with her. But, you know, because it's me, Steve, and Alex, the guys in my band, and Daniel Foose, and we get to arrange the music for a 30-piece orchestra. So it's songs of hers or songs of Cole Porter that we've been able to write and orchestrate for this big band. And it just really sounds, it sounds like I did an arrangement of Paparazzi for a 30-piece orchestra for her, and she plays the piano. Cool. And that's just such a fun thing to hear, and to be able to pick the band out, and it's such a great to hear the band's talent being played by this such talented orchestra.
Yeah.
You know? And her, of course, to be able to sing these songs with her is amazing.
She's so talented.
Yeah.
Do you ever get creative blocks? And if so, how do you deal with them?
I don't know about creative blocks. I guess it's just I'm going so fast all the time. There's all these things going on that I don't really have time for. I think everybody gets a little a little down sometimes. You're just like working hard or stuff is stressful. You know what I mean? Like I think the stress kind of puts me in a different place sometimes. But that's that's the stress of family. Work, you know what I mean? Like it's just life. It's life. Everybody deals with that. But I do get creative blocks sometimes, but I think you just got to push through it. And I find that whenever I do have a block like that, you come out the other side like a little bit better.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, life is building a house out of bricks. It's like whether you put on 1,000 bricks in one day or one or none, you know what I mean? As long as you're building that house constantly, you're going to have, you have a nice place to live,
Yeah.
A nice place to hang out in.
Yeah. What makes a performance a success for you?
When the crowd is leaves feeling like refreshed. Like my job is an entertainer. Like I'm not like, I don't like, of course there's artists and stuff like that, but I don't really consider myself an artist. I consider myself an entertainer. And that's really what drives me, and that's what is so important to me, is the audience. It's like, of course we have fun with the band, but the show is all the same, whether there's 5 people or 5,000. It's like we give out the same 120%. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
And you are entertaining. Like you're so talented, but you are entertaining, and that's not easy for everybody to be.
No, for sure. And that's really the driving force to me. Like I said, the crowd is like, me entertaining the crowd is like for first and foremost.
Yeah.
So if they had a good time, I know that I had a good time, And we feed off each other. I think like that's the best part about being a live performer,
Yeah.
I like recording, but I really love playing live. That's my most fulfilling thing.
Yeah, it's a different energy.
Yeah, for sure.
Has your sound evolved over the years?
I think so, for sure. I think we definitely evolved. We've had a few personnel changes over the years. I try not to change personnel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's so important for the loyalty for me and the band to play together, and that really grows. That grows our sound together. But yeah, we're always adding in new stuff, always adding in new music, trying different things. We definitely have evolved into more like, tonight we're playing electric band. So that's like electrified horns and electric bass, electric piano. Like, so it's like we, get into more sounds of just like a more electric kind of vibe. So we do a lot of that. We used to do that at Thursdays at the Rose Bar. And Tuesdays were more like standards. And then we'd do a little more rock and roll stuff on the other nights. But so definitely have evolved. And I think like I said earlier, it's like the best iteration of the band that has ever been. You know what I mean?
That's
like
awesome.
Really strong players and personalities. Because for me, the personalities are even almost more important than the technical playing of someone.
Yeah.
Be the best bass player in the world, but if you're an asshole, like nobody wants to. Can I say that in here?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You can say whatever you want.
All right. Okay. All right. Good.
You could say whatever you want. We speak French and not the Parisian sort.
That's funny, man. That's funny.
Plus, that word's in the Bible. So.
Yeah.
Now it's time for my Fearless 5.
Oh, nice. Okay, I heard about this.
Before we perhaps have you play a little something for us.
All right.
Okay, so number 1.
Yeah.
Are you like a dip the toe in type person, or are you a cannonball person?
What is what's dip the toe in?
When you're going to go in the pool or the ocean, like, do you got to dip your toe in first?
Dip your toe in. Or
you just take the cannonball?
Cannonball. Yeah.
Cannonball all the way?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. And my wife, Angie, calls me a bull in a china shop. So that's really, yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is something that you think most people value that you don't necessarily subscribe to?
Birthdays? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Like, I don't subscribe to my birthday. I avoid it. I have not aged in 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I don't know. And the importance of social media, if you want to get deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just people take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
Like you're so important. Like everybody's here doing their thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I hear you. I hear you. So, do you consider yourself more of an introvert or an extrovert? This answer always surprises me.
I think extrovert for sure. I definitely want to talk to people. Even sometimes if I don't want to talk to people, I am talking to people because I know that's part of the, sometimes I get done with the show. I just want to go home. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to say hello. But I also know that how important that is. to the people that come to see me, that want to say hello and want to. So that's yeah, totally. And I do love it. But sometimes it's just you do it a lot of talking.
Yeah.
But I am an extrovert. I do like to be. Angie says too, like when we got married, I moved into her apartment, and she like didn't know anybody in the neighborhood really. She's like Italian old school, like keep to themselves, like don't really make friends. And she was like, I knew everyone on the block by the end of like 2 months. She was just they were like, oh, they would see her, and then my neighbor across the street would just be like, oh, did you just move in with Brian?
Oh, that's so funny.
Because just like everybody, I'm out working on the car. Everybody's talked to me. I talk to them. Like I think that's a little bit of Ohio stuff in me. Whenever my mom's in town, like she always like says hello to everyone on the street.
That's
like
cute.
walking on the street,
I
like
love that.
Oh, hello. It's like that's.
Oh, I love your mom.
And then I'm just like, Mom, don't say hello to everybody. What I mean? We're in New York. Don't say, just like just keep walking.
That's so cute, though. I would totally say hello back to your mom.
Yeah, of course.
I love it when people do that. That's so nice.
She acknowledges people. You know what I mean? I think I learned a lot from her. And my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good people.
So I mean, it seems like you were raised right.
So I definitely they were wonderful, wonderful people. I was very lucky to have them raise me.
Yeah. So what was the last thing you Googled?
Well, let's look. Let's see. Welding gas cylinders.
Oh.
I'm building this hot rod, so I that's not that exciting. But
no, that is interesting.
Yeah. It's a bottle that like filled with argon gas that you use to weld metal together. That's what I Googled. Yeah.
Okay, and that's funny.
I need a new bottle.
And the last one.
All right.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh my God, I can't even remember the last time I did karaoke.
If you had to.
I mean, I have my own band. It's like I can karaoke whenever I want,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. What if I was going to do it? Probably like I don't know, New York State of Mind.
Nice.
Probably that's always a good one.
I love that one.
Or a Frank Sinatra song. You know what I mean?
Course.
Like, that's always good. Yeah.
Cool. So can I tempt you to play a little something?
I got to get my horn out though.
Get your horn out. All right. So what is this song called?
Oh, what song? Let's see. What am I going to play? I'm just going to play a little blues in B flat.
Okay, that sounds good.
Like a little licks,
But you'll have to listen to Brian's albums.
They're on like you said, it's on Spotify, Apple.
Apple, everywhere. I have downloaded your Christmas stuff. I have too.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Here we go.
Oh my gosh, that was so awesome. I could listen to you all day long. And
thank you, Kelly.
I really, I'm excited that you came on my show. And
yeah, man, you got to come down to the jazz club at Aman, New York. I'm there 2 or 3 times a week, at least 3 times a week, 90% of the time. So you can go to thejazzclub.com.
Awesome.
And make a reservation there. So we're open to the public.
Yeah, and that will be in the show notes.
Yeah.
So people can make their reservations. We'll put your Instagram handle. We'll put your beautiful wife's Instagram handle.
Sounds good.
We will put a link to your album on iTunes.
Perfect.
So people can go and listen to your music on iTunes, and hopefully you'll all go visit Brian at Aman.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much for having me. I love it. It's beautiful.
Thank you so
Beautiful.
much.
Thank you for doing it.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for watching and listening to Kelly Minds Her Manners. Make sure to subscribe to the show and don't forget to leave us a review to tell us what you liked about the episode. You can connect with Kelly at Kelly Minds Her Manners on Instagram and TikTok or on our website, www.kellymindshermanners.com.